I remember Hawksy asking me to come and jump her out one morning, and I got on the back, I hopped on her, and I only knew her as her pedigree. Snitzel had a response. She didn't have a name back then. And I jumped her out of the barriers, and I came back in. I said, this thing will nearly win the slipper. I was very lucky where I went to school in Melbourne. I had in the same year level as me a boy called Josh Maloney, who his dad was John Maloney, and he trained at Caulfield. So I became friendly with Josh, and we had a lot of mutual friends, and my dad had mutual friends with John Maloney, so I ended up going to Caulfield Stables, and that's where John sort of showed me everything, how to put a head on a horse to ride, and it all went from there. When I was younger and started my apprenticeship, I was probably one of the tallest in the class, and they all probably said I had only a couple of years to ride, and 15 years on, still going. So it's very lucky that I think I fell into a great stable and had good support. Gay Waterhouse had two riders, Nash Rawiller and Blake Shin, who were her stable riders that were travelling to Melbourne, and she had an apprentice who was injured at the time. So I had a phone call from her to see if I wanted to go up there to Sydney for 6 weeks on just a trial period, and I ended up staying 2.5 months with Gay. And I was about to go back home, and then Anthony Cummins approached me to see if I wanted to stay any longer, so I thought I'd try it there. And from Anthony, I sort of rode for Anthony Cummins and Graham Begg, and found some good horses. And when I found Secret Admirer and I Love This City and was able to win a couple of Group 1s and win an Epsom and stuff like, and a Randwick Guineas, Melbourne was probably going to be very unlikely to go back home. So I suppose 6 weeks turned into what is it now? Probably 12 years.
With 150 to run, Parable's digging in, and look at Secret Admirer. She's jumping out of the ground. It's more Strawberries, grabbed by Secret Admirer, got up to win it.
She probably changed the game for me. Her and I Love This City, and definitely Graham Begg as a trainer. I was still an apprentice at the time, and I was regularly riding in Group 1 races, and I rode a couple of Group 1 winners as an apprentice. And without those two horses and definitely Graham Begg, I could have been going back to Melbourne with my tail in between my legs for sure.
Esther Job has to dig. Esther Job in front. Esther Job.
I remember Hawksy asking me to come and jump her out one morning, and I got on the back. I hopped on her, and I only knew her as her pedigree. Snitzel had a response. She didn't have a name back then, and I jumped her out of the barriers, and I came back in. I said, this thing will nearly win the slipper. I just remember the feel she gave me, and I made sure I was stuck with her every time. She obviously won her first couple in good fashion, and then she got beat by Sunlight, and it was probably pilot error that got her beat.
Stand by, Performer lunge to the gates. They're off and racing now on the slipper. Quifilla's back last, and Esther Job flew with the lead. She's going to lead.
Probably could have gone into the slipper nearly favourite, but she just drifted slightly, and then she drew an awkward gate. Probably didn't help either. And
Esther Job eventually found the front.
She was just blessed with so much speed and so much gate speed, and from that gate, I was no hope of slotting in just behind her with cover. So to me, it was just to ride her like a fast filly, which I did, and in a way, I got there probably easier than I thought when I came out so positive, and we were able to sort of get a nice little breather mid-race. And when I got that little breather mid-race, I was confident before the bend, and I knew she'd give a good kick and try hard.
Esther Job with a good kick from Brenton Boy. Esther Job in front from Brenton Boy.
I was just banking on her brilliant speed and her tenacity, and as it panned out, everything worked out well.
And Esther Job led all the way in the slipper, just beat her hood.
Yeah, we had a good celebration, obviously, with family and friends, and it probably didn't sink in that night till probably a few weeks later when you sort of look back and look at the replays, and even now, when they obviously show the history and the honour roll, it's obviously one of the big majors to win, and something I'll always be pretty proud of. John wouldn't have a drink, but Wayne and Michael, they would have a lot of fun for sure, and we've had plenty of fun nights out. To be a jockey in Australia, you've always got the four majors. You'd say the Caulfield Cup, Melbourne Cup, Cox Plate, and the Golden Slipper. But I now definitely think the Everest goes there too. So now it's sort of a five-piece, and not easy to do. I think only a select few riders have won the four. So to now add the Everest into it, definitely a race you put high up on the CV. When you can get a full house at Randwick or Rose Hill, and be winning the big features, a Slipper or an Everest. That's what you work hard to do. It's what you get up at 4 a.m. for. I've been riding for 15 years, and those races every year, they're the ones you target. That's what you program yourself around, and to hopefully turn up there on the in good form on the right day and get the job done.